Welcome to Steps to Success in Grant Fundraising. This bite-sized training has been developed on behalf of Homeless Link with funding from the Department of Levelling Up, Housing and Communities. In this introduction, we will explain why we've created this learning, who it is for, how to make the best use of it, and what we will cover in the 4 modules. Why have we created this training? Fundraising from grants is important to lots of our members. This training has been developed responding to a number of things that we know. In training completed by the grants team at Homeless Link, we are regularly asked about how to be better at grant fundraising, particularly by small and medium charities. We know from the bids we receive there can be a big difference in quality and that there are a number of charities applying for funds that are simply not a good fit. We recognise that in smaller charities there often isn't a dedicated professional fundraiser. This means there can be limited understanding of what makes good grant fundraising, and there can be a mismatch of expectation between trustees and staff on what is possible. Finding time to complete grant applications can be a challenge, so it is really important that people have the knowledge and understanding to make the most of the time they can dedicate to grant funding. This course is designed to develop the skills and understanding of everyone involved in fundraising from grants, from strategy to planning to delivery. This training has been designed for small charities working in the homelessness sector. Our experience shows us that being successful in grant fundraising requires good, shared understanding across the organisation of what makes for good fundraising, what individual roles and responsibilities are, what the plan is, and how it's going. As such, there are modules targeted at trustees, CEOs, and decision makers, and modules targeted at anyone involved in creating bids for the charity, fundraisers, managers, and team managers. We recommend that anyone who regularly plans or develops grant funding applications watches all 4 modules. To make the most out of this training, we recommend learning together as an organisation. Each module is less than 20 minutes long. We recommend you share it with relevant people in your organisation, then come together to agree what this learning means for your organisation, what each person is responsible for, and what your next steps are. We recommend watching all parts that are relevant to your role. The 4 modules build to being able to create winning grant applications. Anyone who regularly plans and writes bids should watch all 4 modules to ensure their writing is grounded in good planning. We recommend all trustees watch the modules relevant to their role, and any trustees with a particular interest watch all modules to be able to better support the staff team. And finally, we recommend referring back to this training when writing bids. The value of training is how you implement it in your day-to-day work. So revisit it as you develop your next bid to remind yourself of our top tips. There are 4 modules which will build your understanding of what is needed to be more successful in grant fundraising. Module 1 is Foundations for Success in Grant Fundraising. This is targeted at all trustees because we know this can often be a gap in knowledge at board level. It is also relevant to CEOs and senior managers who are planning and assessing the success of fundraising. It will cover trustee duties in relation to grant fundraising, how grant fundraising can help you deliver your vision and mission, and key tools that can help you successfully raise grant funds. Module 2 is Types of Grant Funding and is targeted at those involved in planning and monitoring fundraising, as well as those creating bids. Grant funding is a term we use generically, but it covers a broad range of funding types that can fund different things and need different approaches. This module will cover what grant funding is, the types of grant funding available, and finding the right fit for grant funding for your charity. Module 3 is Effective Planning for Grant Fundraising and is for anyone planning and creating grant applications. Successful grant fundraising requires sustained effort and regularly applying for the right things. Your time is precious, and planning can help you make the most of your grant fundraising efforts. This module covers how to find potential funders, deciding whether to apply for a particular fund, and building a pipeline of funds to apply for. The final module is Creating Winning Bids. Whilst this is the most common question we received, this is the end point rather than the starting one. Being successful in applications requires the groundwork we've covered in the first 3 modules. The final module puts all of that together and covers types of application and how to approach them, understanding grant assessors and what they are looking for, and using the right language to connect what you do with what funders are looking for. We hope you find this training useful.